HYBE criticized. Why don't Jimin and Jungkook appear together anymore? It began with a silence that no one expected, a gap so obvious yet so carefully unspoken. Jimin and Jungkook, once inseparable in the public eye, now rarely appear together. For fans who grew up watching their bond unfold on stage and behind the scenes, this sudden distance feels less like coincidence and more like an orchestrated choice. The question is loud, sharp, and unavoidable. Why has HYBE allowed, or perhaps even engineered, this growing separation? In the world of global entertainment, especially when it involves artists as iconic as members of BTS, nothing happens without reason. Every move, every absence, and every appearance is calculated, polished, and projected with intention. That is why this particular situation feels so jarring. How can two artists, whose friendship was celebrated as unshakable, suddenly vanish from each other's spotlight? Is this truly a natural change in their dynamic? Or is HYBE playing a larger game that fans are only beginning to notice? Criticism against HYBE has intensified in recent months. Observers point out how promotional materials, interviews, and even casual appearances no longer feature Jimin and Jungkook side by side. Fans who were once accustomed to their undeniable chemistry are now left searching for traces of their interactions, only to find silence, distance, and carefully edited content. This silence has been interpreted by many as more than just scheduling conflicts. It looks and feels like a deliberate strategy. And whenever strategy becomes the suspected reason, questions inevitably turn toward the company controlling the narrative. HYBE. The tension grows heavier when recalling how these two artists have historically been perceived. Jimin and Jungkook were not just group members. They were symbols of brotherhood, resilience, and trust within BTS. Their friendship, highlighted in countless moments over the years, was part of what made fans feel close to the group. To see that vanish almost overnight raises suspicions that are difficult to dismiss. Has HYBE deliberately chosen to separate their images? And if so, what possible benefit could come from dismantling such a beloved dynamic? What makes this issue so compelling is the lack of explanation. Neither Jimin nor Jungkook has openly addressed the distance, and HYBE itself remains silent, releasing polished statements about schedules and activities while avoiding the elephant in the room. This silence feels heavy, almost strategic, and fans cannot help but wonder. Is HYBE hiding something? Is this absence simply an unfortunate side effect of solo promotions? Or is there a deeper, calculated effort to reshape their public image? The weight of these questions grows as fans notice patterns. Appearances that once included both are now split. Interviews that used to highlight their bond now feel fragmented, and group-related activities seem carefully arranged to keep them apart. For an entertainment company as powerful and deliberate as HYBE, fans argue, nothing is random. Every detail is planned, every choice has a purpose. So why would HYBE choose to dismantle one of the most emotionally significant pairings in BTS history? Emotions among fans are divided. Some argue that HYBE is simply adapting to the natural evolution of its artists, allowing Jimin and Jungkook to pursue independent careers and build individual brands. Others, however, see something darker. A corporate strategy designed to separate them in order to control narratives, prevent overshadowing, or push different agendas that fans are not yet fully aware of. The lack of transparency fuels this divide, and in that silence, speculation only grows louder. The criticism is not merely about absence, it is about trust. For years, HYBE has been viewed as the architect of BTS's success, carefully guiding their path to global domination. But now, that same careful planning is being seen as manipulation. Fans feel betrayed, believing that what once seemed like genuine brotherhood may have been fractured not by personal choice, but by external decisions. This suspicion damages not just the perception of HYBE, but also the emotional bond between fans and the group itself. If fans begin to feel that their idols are being used as chess pieces, the sense of authenticity that defined BTS may be at risk. What makes this controversy even more volatile is the emotional weight Jimin and Jungkook carry as individuals. Each has carved out a powerful identity, yet their connection has always been a source of comfort and inspiration for fans. To see that bond minimized, ignored, or possibly erased leaves a void. Fans are left questioning whether the closeness they witnessed for years was real, or if it was simply another crafted narrative now deemed no longer useful by the company. that doubt is dangerous, for it transforms admiration into suspicion. The conversation is no longer confined to whispers among fans. It has become a loud critique of HYBE's role in shaping and possibly distorting the natural relationships between its artists. Social media platforms are filled with threads, analyses, and side-by-side comparisons pointing out the growing distance. The criticism intensifies with every public appearance that fails to include both Jimin and Jungkook, and with every unanswered question, HYBE's silence grows more incriminating. This issue transcends simple curiosity. It cuts into the very foundation of how fans perceive authenticity in the entertainment industry. If relationships can be managed, controlled, and even dismantled for strategic reasons, then what is left that fans can trust? HYBE is now at the center of this storm, not just as a company, but as a symbol of corporate influence over human connection. And until answers are given, every silence will be interpreted as guilt, every absence as proof, so the question remains, sharp and unresolved. Why don't Jimin and Jungkook appear together anymore? Is this truly the result of personal growth and changing priorities? Or is it the shadow of a corporate decision designed to reshape narratives? Fans continue to wait, watch, and speculate. And as long as HYBE refuses to address the storm directly, the criticism will not fade. It will only grow stronger, fueled by doubt, silence, and the painful absence of a bond that once seemed unbreakable. The debate over Jimin and Jungkook's apparent distance has reached a point where silence no longer feels like absence. It feels like strategy. But as the criticism intensifies, another question emerges that cuts even deeper than the issue itself. Are we, as observers, consuming truth, or are we merely swallowing carefully manufactured illusions created for attention, profit, and control? When fans analyze every glance, every absence, and every silence, are they uncovering reality? Or are they falling victim to a narrative designed to manipulate? The responsibility now lies not only with HYBE, but also with the audience. Should we accept every circulating story as evidence of a broken bond? Or should we interrogate the sources, question the motives, and examine whether this controversy is authentic or artificially inflated? After all, the bulk of this discourse originates from social platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and secondary media outlets. These are spaces where narratives spread with alarming speed, often without verification, raising the uncomfortable possibility that much of what fans believe might be built upon speculation rather than fact. So we must ask ourselves, when we hear claims that Jimin and Jungkook are drifting apart, do we believe this as undeniable truth, or do we pause to consider whether this is sensationalism crafted for clicks, shares, and emotional engagement? How do we distinguish between fact and fabrication when the very platforms we rely on thrive on algorithms that reward controversy over clarity? If HYBE remains silent, does that silence confirm guilt? Or are we simply projecting meaning onto emptiness, filling the void with our own fears and expectations? The danger of blind consumption is real. If every unverified post is treated as evidence, then speculation becomes indistinguishable from truth. At what point do fans stop reflecting on reality and start reinforcing rumors as if they were facts? Could it be that the perceived distance between Jimin and Jungkook is nothing more than the natural outcome of solo schedules, amplified into a scandal by the echo chambers of social media? And if so, are we guilty of transforming normal artistic evolution into a manufactured crisis? This is where the concept of skepticism becomes not only important but essential. In a digital age where images can be cropped, narratives can be spliced, and stories can be exaggerated, can we still trust what we see? Or must we train ourselves to question, to pause, and to dissect every claim before accepting it? Consider this. If HYBE were deliberately separating Jimin and Jungkook, why has no conclusive evidence surfaced beyond patterns noticed by fans online? And if HYBE is innocent, why has the company chosen silence instead of transparent clarification? Could it be that the silence itself is another calculated move, designed to provoke exactly this kind of speculation and media storm? The implications extend beyond two artists. They reflect on the way modern media operates, how corporations interact with public narratives, and how fans themselves contribute to the creation of mythologies around their idols. Should we, then, take a step back and recognize that we may be complicit in fueling the very rumors we criticize? When every retweet, every comment, and every reaction amplifies a narrative without proof, are we strengthening the truth or empowering falsehood? And yet, we cannot deny the emotional weight behind this controversy. Jimin and Jungkook's bond was not just entertainment. It represented stability, loyalty, and comfort to millions of fans. To question its authenticity feels like questioning the sincerity of years of memories, performances, and interactions. But can we afford to hold on to these emotions without considering the possibility that what we saw may have been magnified, staged, or selectively curated? Are we willing to confront the possibility that our perception of closeness was partly shaped by the company's decisions all along? This leads to the most difficult question of all. Do fans truly want the truth, or do they prefer the illusion? Would the confirmation of a rift between Jimin and Jungkook bring closure, or would it only deepen the wound? On the other hand, if it were revealed that their distance was exaggerated by media and fans themselves, would people accept responsibility for believing and spreading speculation? Or would they simply shift the blame back onto HYBE, accusing the company of manipulation regardless of the facts? Therefore, the only path forward is critical reflection. When you, the reader, watch a video dissecting a small detail, when you scroll through a thread analyzing expressions, or when you encounter a post declaring the end of their bond, ask yourself, is this evidence, or is it interpretation? Is this journalism, or is it gossip? Is this truth, or is it another hoax thriving on sensationalism? Until we confront these questions honestly, we remain vulnerable to the same cycle of manipulation and doubt that fuels this very controversy, so we return to the central provocation. Why don't Jimin and Jungkook appear together anymore? Do you truly believe this distance is real, the result of a deliberate decision from HYBE? Or do you suspect it is nothing more than a narrative inflated by the hunger of social media? Is this controversy the unveiling of truth? Or is it yet another constructed storm designed to hold our attention?